Hi, I'm Julie Langenkamp-Muenkel. I'm editor-in-chief of informationmanagement.com, and I'm here at TDWI's World Conference in San Diego. I'm joined by Shawn Rogers, who is the Vice President of Research for Business Intelligence and Data Warehousing at EMA. Thank you so much for joining me.
It's wonderful to be here. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Shawn, today I would love to talk about game changers and innovation in business. So many people within businesses I think it's trendy to follow some of the topics like analytics and whatever, but how much of that is just surface level, or how are organizations really driving in and changing games or changing the game based on the technology available?
You know, I think we went through this kind of quiet period in the industry, and you and I have been covering this space for a long time, and it got kind of boring a couple of years ago. There wasn't a lot of really game-changing or exciting technology that was happening. I think really the most innovative things we've seen over the last couple of years were perhaps analytic databases, like you know, the ones that came from IBM and other companies, Teradata and so on. It was interesting. Then cloud came, and that was also interesting. But it changed the game a little bit, especially from an IT perspective. I think the big balloon word of the year is certainly big data. And I'm a critic of the hype around big data. I'm a critic of the 3 V's. I think there should be 10. I'm a critic of the Hadoop equals big data. So in a game-changing way, I look at this and it's got such incredible traction that it's even taken people down the wrong road. And I think it's stalled out its ability to change the game for a bit. I just did some research in the market recently, and we're seeing a maturity sort of swinging back in the right direction towards more sophisticated workloads, more sophisticated use cases for big data. And I do think it's starting to change the game. And where I'm seeing the traction is in domain-specific areas and specific industries. You know, healthcare is a good example. We're seeing, I saw a great use case for big data recently that's monitoring prenatal children hundreds of times per minute for things like blood pressure or body temperature, fevers, and things of that nature. And they've been able to find out that when they collect the data from this machine that's doing it in a way that a human couldn't, it changes the game from an identification of an upcoming problem. They're actually able to predict which child's going to have a problem in 2 to 3 days based on these micro measurements versus the macro measurements of a great nurse coming in and putting a thermometer in the baby or listening to the heart. Now these machines are able to collect all this big data and change the way that we're looking at the medical information, and we're actually able to make determinations on health and the path to solve the upcoming problem. So it's becoming predictive, it's becoming proactive, which, you know, in all the conversations you and I've had about analytics over the years, reactive has always been the best we could do, and now we're changing that game in healthcare. So big data is a big buzzy word, and a lot of times it hasn't shooken the world the way we expected it to, but I'm starting to see some adoption in certain areas that really is making a difference.
And the technologists we work with seek to make lives better, whether it's within the organization
Absolutely.
or in use cases like healthcare. And yet sometimes the ripple effect takes a while to get going. Where do you think we are in terms of that maturity?
You know, what we've been seeing is the early adopters of big data in general have been companies with more money than sense. And I'm not picking on the companies that have done it, but these are the companies that have a lot of money and will pay a lot of money to be an early adopter to get that competitive edge, to get that 3 seconds shaved off the analytic, or to be able to react quicker to outmaneuver a competitor. Those folks have been the ones that have been doing the early on components or work around big data. The study that we just finished a week ago at EMA, we looked at almost 600 big data projects and got a chance to look at the workloads, got a chance to look at who the sponsors were, who was paying for them, who was using them, and how far along they were. And we came out the other end with a sophisticated view, much different than the view we had last year. Right now, the biggest utilization of those nearly 600 projects is risk management. And so that's an enterprise workload. That's an enterprise business solution, and that tends to be game-changing when you're using new technologies to get it done, because as you know, big data type implementations can get it done at scale. They can do it with more data, they can be more accurate, and so on. So for the enterprise, we're starting to see workloads get sophisticated and change and evolve away from the simple projects that we heard about last year.
Excellent. Thank you very much for sharing this. It's a fun time for us and a fun time for the industry, so I appreciate your insights.
You're welcome. Always good to see you.
Thank you. This is Julie Langenkamp-Muenkel from TDWI's World Conference in San Diego. Thank you so much.